By the 8th century, you have the new Assyrian Empire on the rise. And in 722, the Assyrian king Sargon reduced Israel to the status of a province. And we have an inscription by Sargon that confirms the biblical report of this defeat. And in this inscription, Sargon says, "I besieged and conquered Samaria, led away as booty 27,290 inhabitants of it. The town I rebuilt better than it was before, and settled therein people from countries which I myself had conquered." So population transplanting. "I placed an officer of mine as governor over them, and imposed upon them tribute, as is customary for Assyrian citizens." So there's a basic agreement between this and the biblical account. Many of the governing class, the wealthy merchants, many tens of thousands in all, were carried off to northern Mesopotamia, and they were lost to history. These are the 10 lost tribes of Israel. There would have remained behind some Hebrew farmers and shepherds. They would have continued their old ways, but as was consistent with their policy, the Assyrians imported new peoples to repopulate this area and to break up any local resistance to their rule. And this would then become the province of Samaria. And this ethnically mixed group would practice a form of Israelite religion, but the Deuteronomistic editor does not view it as legitimate. And ultimately, these Samaritans were going to be despised by the Jews of the southern kingdom, the Jews of Judah. They were seen as foreign corrupters of the faith. They were always ready to assist Judah's enemies against Judah. So they felt very little kinship, and very often the Samaritans would join against those attacking Judah. So there was tremendous rivalry between the Jews of Judah and the Samaritans. Hence, the New Testament story makes sense, right? This is a hated person, this good Samaritan.